Good afternoon, everybody. Today we traded gold. We had a very uh, easy trade today. I took two trades, one short and one long. But let's get into the analysis, starting on the daily time frame. We are bouncing off of a trend line from 1 to 3 days ago. We hit this trend line that also lined up with this area of liquidity, this low right here. So we had a low right here as well as a trend line, doubled up on liquidity, and we've been bouncing since. Targeting these new highs as well as these relative equal highs with a lot of orders to be filled here. The next area that we are going to hit will be this high, and there's another high on the hourly. Those are our only targets to work with right now. So this morning at 8:30, we had a perfect pullback. I actually traded micro gold, so let me go to that chart. Yep, two trades today. To begin, we had these highs, and let's see, 8:30 was right. All right, this marker is 8:30. From here, we didn't have much to work with. Maybe on the hourly. I forget what I had marked up. Oh, yes. Okay, so this is all we had to work with today. And yeah, so 8:30 opens right here, 30 minutes time frame. We don't have much going on except for these fair value gaps, as well as 50% marker right here. I wanted to wait until we did a little bit of a retrace, and I shorted the retrace into close to that 50% marker, and then we hit this previous area of support, which I don't normally do, support and resistance, but it is a concept that people follow, so it's always good to keep that in mind. On the 5-minute, we wicked out this low. Let's get rid of this. So the trade setup for the short today, we had hit a previous high of somewhere in this area, so I knew that after that we needed a retrace in order to bounce up. So after this bearish candle, I took a short, and I rode it all the way down to the bottom, and once we began to retrace, I exited because I knew shorts were risky, but I was pretty confident it would work, and I made like 20 ticks, not 20, like 10 ticks off of that. It was a very small trade, but following that trade was the big trade that I was waiting for this morning, and we retraced into a low and close to fair value price. So after, well, I did enter a little bit late. I entered, where did I enter? Okay, I entered midway through this candle right here with stops below this low. That does not look right. Oh yeah, okay. Yep. So I entered on this doji, sorry, and I exited at this high right here. Original target was at these highs, but you know, I exited to be safe because I was already up. I took a Bitcoin trade as well, and I made 300 ticks on that guy, so I was happy with this. This was about a 1-to-1. I could have made a 1-to-2, but what I ended up making was 80 ticks, and with one micro contract that is $80. And overall, with the Bitcoin trade as well as a short, I made $250. So to recap, I took a short, just assuming that we were going to retrace into this area right here for discount a discounted price. Following this retrace, I exited. We had a very strong hammer candle, and I entered on the close, very close to that close of that hammer. And I exited at the high, retrace into a low, close to discount, and targeted highs. And we hit all the highs that are close by. So if you were in this trade as well, you could have held all the way up to here and made about 200 ticks on gold. And XRP, I'm in a long position on this solely based off of news. So I entered at the high over here. I was a bit late to the news. Realistically, I wish I entered. Everyone wishes they would have entered here, but I didn't hear about the news until all the way up here. But I entered anyways, assuming banks and institutions are going to be joining the game and further pushing price up because they may use them as funds for 401ks. Also, XRP is like a tool that you can use for cross-country all transactions with a very small delay time. So they are very trusted. They made a lawsuit. I forget what the lawsuit was on, but they are essentially trustworthy and they are useful. They're not just a currency holder like Bitcoin. So hopefully they can pump up to $10 or $20 and quadruple my position. And Bitcoin, the trade today was on micro Bitcoin. I'm on a $100,000 static account. Yeah, this is like, so I'm trading very small position size. This was the trade. I entered here because we are in a demand zone, closing on our demand zone, and that was overnight trade. And I exited around this high for like 200. Oh, I guess I made 370 ticks. But yeah, that's it for today. Just a typical setup. Going with the high time frame trends on gold. Daily, weekly, daily, and 4-hourly are all uptrending. And the next targets that we need to hit are this high on the weekly, which is same on the daily. And then after that, we have a high right here on the daily and on the weekly. On the 4-hour, it's going to be the exact same. And we have this area to retrace back to, as well as this 50% mark right here. And you could use Fibonacci if you want to. So you could use the 50% mark or Fibonacci. They're very similar. And 4-hourly, well, 4-hourly, back to that, we have a nice fair value gap as well. So in this area, it's a discounted zone, slightly below Fibonacci, and fair value price, fair value gap within a fair price and Fibonacci. And yeah, more fair value gaps on the 1-hourly, so you very well may retrace and then continue on to these highs. A low right here, and a I wouldn't count on this low right here. It's very weak. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. If you're not into trading or into crypto, I've been doing this for about 1 year now, and I'm enjoying it, so I highly encourage at least giving it a shot. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day.